Organizations are no longer assessed based only on traditional metrics, such as financial performance or even the quality of their products or services. They are increasingly judged by their impact on society at large, transforming them from business enterprises into social enterprises. Corporate social responsibility is a self-regulating business model that helps a company be socially accountable to itself, its stakeholders, and the public. By practicing corporate social responsibility, companies can be conscious of the kind of impact they are having on all aspects of society, including economic, social, and environmental. As important as CSR is for the community, it is equally valuable for a company. CSR activities can help forge a stronger bond between employees and corporations, boost morale, and help employees and employers feel more connected with the world around them. For a company to be socially responsible, it first needs to be accountable to itself and its shareholders. Often, companies that adopt CSR programs have grown their business to the point where they can give back to the society. Thus, CSR is primarily a strategy of large corporations. The Walt Disney Company, commonly known as Disney, is an American diversified multinational mass media and entertainment conglomerate. Disney was originally founded on October 16, 1923 by brothers Walt and R. Roy Disney as the Disney Brothers Cartoon Studio. From humble beginnings as a cartoon studio in the 1920s to its preeminent name in the entertainment industry today, Disney proudly continues its legacy of creating world-class stories and experiences for every member of the family. The mission of the Walt Disney Company is to entertain, inform, and inspire people around the globe through the power of unparalleled storytelling, reflecting the iconic brands, creative minds, and innovative technologies that make ours the world's premier entertainment company. The Walt Disney Company, together with its subsidiaries and affiliates, is a leading diversified international family entertainment and media enterprise with the following business segments: media networks, parks, experiences and products, studio entertainment, and direct-to-consumer. Workplace harassment and discrimination occurs when a party mistreats, bullies, or prejudices another party on the basis of their race, gender, disability, or age in a workplace setting. This particular issue is quite sensitive and hence it is quite difficult and challenging to deal with. At the moment, this issue has constantly been over the media. Disney's workplace policies and practices have always included commitments to non-discrimination and freedom from harassment. However, after all these policies, like any other large corporation, Disney has its share of labor problems. Disney has a long history of employment-related lawsuits. Recently, the class action suit against Disney is one of the high-profile allegations of pay inequity. On 5 July 2019, a class action suit was filed by 6 female employees working in the Walt Disney Corporation, alleging the salary discrimination in the company. The corporation was alleged to pay less to the women working on the same level as male employees, along with which they were also denied promotions and their salaries weren't increased after a period as it should have been. These women alleged Disney for discriminated based on their age. Out of these 6 female employees, the employee named Annie Ju stated that she hadn't been promoted since 2000, in spite of creating and innovating marketing campaigns for Disney. The employee named La Ronda Rasmussen claimed that her salary was $10,000 less than the male employees. Rasmussen, a product manager, stated that she brought up the issue of unfair gender inequality to Disney's Human Resources Department in 2017, but the company responded that the salary inequality within the company is not due to the gender. At that time, her average salary was $109,000, which was much less than the other 6 male employees with the same job position, and approximately her salary was $26,000 less. The case is represented by San Francisco-based lawyer Laurie Andrus. All the allegations that Disney stated in the complaint are uninformed and baseless. Like any other case, there were impacts of this allegation made. Firstly, the short-term impact of this case was that many current and former employees of Disney came forward with a similar situation of discrimination. Furthermore, 4 more employees joined the lawsuit with similar allegation alongside the initial 6 plaintiffs mentioned above. During this crucial phase, Walt Disney had also been facing a lawsuit from its employees on pay equity at Disneyland as well, which in total had adverse effect on their stocks in the third quarter. Secondly, the long-term impact of gender discrimination case against a big and reputed firm can play the role of raising awareness and fear among other firms around the world conducting similar non-ethical practices. Moreover, this case has encouraged many other companies to take up initiatives to resolve the wage gap issues. According to studies since April 2019, more than 30 top firms in California, including firms such as Apple, Airbnb, Gap, and Uber, etc., have made a pledge to take a step towards pay equity relating to gender. This will also give companies a real-life example as to how good reputations of companies leads to other companies attracting new customers, retaining employees, and gaining a greater market share in today's competitive environment. There are a lot of stakeholders involved in this case. Stakeholders are the party that has an interest in the company and can either affect or be affected by the business. In the above mentioned case, there were 2 types of stakeholders, internal and external. Internal stakeholders are those who are in direct relationship with the company and are affected by the actions and outcomes of the company. The internal stakeholders involved in this case were the 6 plaintiffs, namely La Ronda Rasmussen, Karen Morey, Ginia Eddie Marshall, Annie Ju, Rebecca Train, Amy Hutchins, the defendant Walt Disney Company, the plaintiffs law firm Andrus Anderson LLP, and the Superior Court of California. The external stakeholders are those who are not in direct relationship with the company but are affected by their actions and outcomes. Here, the external stakeholders would be other companies, employees, and regulatory authorities that could use the verdict of this case as a learning experience. Another important case which took place in Disney was about sexual harassment. On Feb 10th this year, a female employee was illegally fired by the Walt Disney Company. She filed a sexual harassment claim against her supervisor and stated that she was sexually harassed by her supervising chef while on duty, and also she was touched during her shifts and that sexual comments were directed towards her. It was reported by her that she also approached the upper management team but was met with retaliation and false accusation of workplace and safety violations. This resulted in the termination of her employment at Disney World. She is trying to get all her lost wages and benefits reimbursed alongside an award for compensatory and punitive damages as well as her reinstatement. The short-term impact of this case was that employees with similar situations from other companies came forward and confronted the appropriate authorities. Proper measures were taken against such situations by the organizations. The long-term impact of this case was there was awareness for sexual harassment that was spread all across the organizations and strict rules against such practices were formed. Companies with such practices became conscious and started acting against these claims. There were policies implemented by organizations such as United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO to prevent such practices. By implementing these policies, many companies changed their market image and earned customer trust, which led to more market share for them. The internal stakeholder involved in this case were the plaintiffs, the defendant Walt Disney Company, the law firms defending the plaintiff, and the firm defending Disney and the Court of Florida. The external shareholders for this case would be the companies that arouse with similar situations. Despite Disney being one of those names which excites many youngsters even today, the internal environment can be noticed as not complying to the expectations with regards to basic human rights. Nearing a century since it has been established, Disney would feel proud of all its achievements over the years. but some negative instances were enough to tatter its reputation globally. Workplace harassment and discrimination has been over the news for quite a good amount of time now. But it should be MNCs like Disney who should be acting responsible and ethical with handling of such inhuman actions, and this is exactly where the aspect of corporate social responsibility kicks in, which immensely lacks in the modern day at the Walt Disney Corporation. Since the past decade, the focus of corporations worldwide has shifted towards maintaining better market share not solely through profits but also through implementation of good practices within the business environment. A lot of work needs to be put in for Disney to come back up with the image it once had and real soon, because it's going to be the other corporations who have been competing to fill up this void and have gotten the opportunity now as well. The two possible outcomes which could be noticed from the above case from a long-term perspective could be either the gradual decline of Disney, or on a positive note, this could lead to the rise of a new Disney altogether, with large dependency being placed on how will they be able to make up for their actions till date and what steps they would be taking for such issues to not rise again in the foreseeable future.